Sir, step away from the vehicle. Keep your hands where I can see them.
This is my car. My license is
I
right.
said hands on the hood! Don't make this difficult.
My wife and I were just
Please,
doing the property.
check the registration.
A house like that?
Right, you're a long way from home.
We
Turn
have an
around.
appointment. She called you because we're
Ma'am, you
black.
pipe down. Sir, you're under detainment. Stop resisting.
Diane Foster had no idea who she was actually talking to. In the next 3 minutes, this top-selling agent is going to lose her license. She will face a $2.2 million lawsuit, and she will watch her entire agency get sold out from under her. The couple she just dismissed as unqualified were not just first-time buyers. They were Marcus and Tanya Williams. They are tech moguls with a real estate portfolio worth 10 times the value of the house she refused to show. They didn't just have the cash to buy the house. They had enough money to buy her boss's company. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been judged unfairly by someone based on how you look? Drop your answer in the comments. But Diane Foster had no idea she was profiling one of the state's most powerful investment teams. She just saw two people in hoodies and jeans. Marcus and Tanya Williams are not your average home buyers. Marcus is 42, Tanya is 39. They founded a company called Apex Systems. 5 years ago, they sold that company to a major tech giant for a huge sum of money. Now they run Williams Capital Group. They are Stanford engineering graduates. They spent 15 years working in Silicon Valley, but here is the secret Diane missed. They know real estate better than she does. They pivoted to commercial properties 5 years ago. Today, they own 3 shopping malls and 2 large apartment complexes. They know property law inside and out. They know exactly what an agent can and cannot do. But on this Tuesday morning, they weren't acting like moguls. They were just parents. They wanted a forever home to raise their twins. They specifically wanted the Riverside district for the excellent schools. They were just trying to view a house like anyone else. Diane Foster was known in this town as the gatekeeper of Riverside. She is 55 years old. She has been a senior broker at Century Properties for 20 years. But she had a bad reputation. There were 6 complaints against her in just 3 years. Every single complaint involved her steering minorities away from luxury listings. In 2019, a Hispanic man tried to view a home. He was a top heart surgeon at the local hospital. Diane told him the house was already sold. It wasn't. She just didn't think he looked like he belonged there. He went to another agency and she got away with it. In 2021, she refused to return calls from an Asian investor. He had to hire a white proxy just to get a viewing. The junior agents in her office had a nickname for her. They called her the Wall. They said if she didn't like your look, you didn't see the house. She had gotten away with this behavior for years. Why? Because most people just gave up and went somewhere else. It is wrong to judge a book by its cover. It is also bad for business. But Diane felt untouchable. She thought she owned the neighborhood. But this time, she picked the wrong people to mess with. Let me know what you think about agents like this in the comments. It was Tuesday, October 14th. The time was 10:00 a.m. The location was the flagship office of Century Properties. It sits right in the middle of the wealthy Riverside district. The office is intimidating. It has marble floors and expensive art. Classical music plays softly in the background. It is designed to make you feel rich. There were 4 people inside. Sarah, the receptionist, was at the front desk. 2 junior agents were working in their cubicles, and Diane was sitting in her glass office in the back. Marcus and Tanya walked in. They were dressed comfortably. Marcus wore a gray tech hoodie. Tanya wore jeans and a t-shirt. They looked relaxed. Sarah, the receptionist, smiled and stood up to greet them. "Good morning," she began. But she didn't get to finish. Diane saw them through the glass. She marched out of her office immediately. She intercepted them before they could even reach the front desk. She did not offer a handshake. She did not smile. She just blocked their path. That was the moment everything changed. Diane took one look at Marcus's hoodie and made a $1 million mistake. If you want to see justice served in stories like this, hit that subscribe button right now. We cover these cases every week. "I need the listing sheet for the Riverside estate," Marcus said politely. Diane crossed her arms. She kept the papers behind the desk. "I told you that house is not for you." "We have a pre-approval letter," Tanya said. She reached into her bag. "It is right here." Diane waved her hand. She refused to even look at the paper. I don't need to see that. Banks hand those out to anyone these days. The tension in the room spiked. The receptionist, Sarah, looked down at her desk. She knew this was bad. We want to see the house, Marcus repeated. I have listings in the valley, Diane said. The valley was a coded way of saying the low-income area. You would be much more comfortable there. We don't want the valley, Tanya said. Her voice was shaking slightly, but she stood her ground. We want Riverside. Diane let out a sharp laugh. Listen to me, the seller is very particular. They don't want looky-loos walking through their carpets. Marcus stared at her. Does particular mean they don't want black people? Diane gasped. She clutched her chest like she was the victim. How dare you, that is harassment. It is a simple question, Marcus said. You are being aggressive, Diane raised her voice. You are making a scene. We are just standing here, Tanya said. I want you out, Diane shouted. She pointed a long, manicured finger at the door. Get out of my office before I call the police. The junior agent stopped typing. The room was dead silent. Diane was red in the face. She thought she had won. She thought she had scared them off. Fine, Marcus said. He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He just turned around. Come on, Tanya, let's go. They walked out the door. Diane huffed and smoothed her jacket. Unbelievable, she muttered to Sarah, the nerve of some people. But what Diane didn't know was that Marcus had already hit record on his phone. Marcus and Tanya walked back to their car. They were calm. They were professionals. Did you get it? Tanya asked. Every word, Marcus replied. He saved the audio file on his phone. 10 minutes later, Marcus made a phone call, but he didn't call a lawyer, not yet. He called the actual seller of the Riverside estate. You see, Marcus played golf with the owner, Mr. Jenkins, at a charity tournament last month. He knew him personally. Hey Bill, Marcus said on speakerphone, is your house under contract? Your agent said it was unavailable. What? Bill asked. No, I haven't had a showing in 3 weeks. I am desperate to sell that place. Why did she say that? I think I know why, Marcus said, but I need to prove it. Now they had a plan. They decided to set up a sting operation. They called their friend Michael. Michael is white. He agreed to help immediately. 30 minutes later, Michael walked into the exact same office. He was wearing gym clothes. He looked even more casual than Marcus. Diane saw him. She didn't block his path. She walked up with a bright smile. Welcome, she said. Can I get you some coffee, water? I'd like to see the Riverside estate, Michael said. I don't have an appointment. No problem at all, Diane chirped. That is a lovely property. The seller is very eager. Let me grab the keys. We can go right now. Michael recorded the whole thing. Diane Foster treated the white man in gym clothes like a king. She treated the black couple in hoodies like criminals. She had walked right into the trap. Now Marcus and Tanya had proof of steering. This is a violation of the Fair Housing Act. Most people would just sue, but Marcus and Tanya wanted to do something bigger. They didn't just want to punish Diane. They wanted to change the whole system. We have the bait, Tanya said. Now let's buy the boat. Type justice in the comments if you are loving this plan. Instead of filing a lawsuit the next day, Tanya made a different call. She called Mr. Henderson. He was the owner of the Century Properties franchise. He was Diane's boss. Mr. Henderson was an older man. He had been looking to retire for years. Tanya knew this because she reads the business news. We want to buy your franchise, Tanya told him. All of it. The office, the name, the contracts. We will pay cash. Mr. Henderson was shocked, but the number they offered was too good to refuse. They made a deal that very week, but there was one condition. The sale had to remain a secret for 48 hours. The following Monday morning, Mr. Henderson called a mandatory staff meeting. Everyone was there. Sarah, the receptionist, the junior agents, and of course, Diane. Diane sat in the front row. She looked smug. She told Sarah she expected a promotion. She thought Mr. Henderson was retiring and leaving her in charge. I have an announcement, Mr. Henderson said. I have sold the agency. Diane clapped loudly. That is wonderful. Who is the new owner? The door opened. Marcus and Tanya walked in. Diane's smile froze. She looked confused. Then she started to laugh. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Did you get lost again?" "Diane," Mr. Henderson said sharply, "meet the new owners, Marcus and Tanya Williams." The color drained from Diane's face. She looked like she was going to be sick. "That's impossible," she stammered. They can't afford a house. How can they buy the company?" "We bought it with the money we save by not dealing with agents like you," Marcus said. Tanya stepped forward. She held up a folder. "Diane, this is your termination notice. You are fired immediately for cause." "You can't do that," Diane screamed. "I have a contract. I have severance." "You violated the Fair Housing Act," Tanya said calmly. "We have the recordings. We have the witness. Your contract is void." Security escorted Diane out of the building. She left with nothing but a cardboard box. But losing her job was just the appetizer. The lawsuit was the main course. If you enjoy seeing karma in action, make sure you are subscribed. We have a lot more coming. The story didn't stay in the office. By that afternoon, Marcus posted the audio recording on LinkedIn. He titled it, "This is what discrimination sounds like." By the next morning, the post had exploded. It was shared thousands of times. Then Real Estate Twitter found it. The hashtag Real Estate Racism started trending one in the country. By day 3, the local news was interviewing Michael, the white friend who got the tour. He played his recording on live TV. The difference in Diane's voice was shocking. It was undeniable proof. By the end of the week, national news outlets like CNN picked up the story. 4 million people watched the video on TikTok. The comments section was full of support. Other minorities started sharing their own stories about Diane. "She did the same thing to me in 2018, one woman wrote. "She told me to look in the slums," another man commented. Diane tried to do damage control. She deleted her social media accounts, but it was too late. Screenshots live forever. The internet had the receipts. Public pressure mounted. People were demanding real consequences. They didn't just want her fired. They wanted her license gone. This story was shared millions of times. Share it with a friend if you think others should see this. The Williamses filed a federal lawsuit against Diane Foster personally. They sued for violation of the Fair Housing Act and the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Since they now own the agency, they had access to everything. They owned Diane's old work computer. What they found during discovery was shocking. They found hundreds of emails. Diane had been writing to sellers for years. In one email, she actually wrote, "I filtered out the urban element to keep the neighborhood quiet." Urban element? It was a disgusting phrase. It proved her intent was malicious. It wasn't an accident. It was a strategy. Diane tried to fight it in court, but she had no money left. She had lost her job. No other agency would hire her. Her reputation was destroyed. The settlement was massive. Diane was forced to pay $2.2 million in damages. Her insurance covered some, but the rest came from her personal assets. She lost her savings. She effectively lost her retirement. But the money wasn't the biggest loss. The State Real Estate Commission held an emergency hearing. They listened to the tapes. They read the emails. Their decision was unanimous. Diane's real estate license was permanently revoked. She can never sell a house in this state again. She is blacklisted from the industry forever. And what about the house? Marcus and Tanya bought the Riverside estate directly from Mr. Jenkins. Since they were the agency owners, they cut out the commission entirely. Diane would have made $60,000 on that sale. Instead, she made zero. Diane lost her career, her savings, and her reputation. The Williamses got their dream home, and they cleaned up the agency from the inside out. Wait until you hear what Tanya said on the courthouse steps. It is powerful. After the settlement, Tanya spoke to the press outside the courthouse. She stood next to Marcus. They looked proud but tired. "This was never about the money," Tanya said into the microphones. "It was about dignity." She took a breath. It hurts to be looked at like a criminal when you are just trying to buy a home for your children. It hurts to know that someone thinks you don't belong. She looked directly at the cameras. "Marcus and I were lucky. We had the resources to fight back. We could buy the system to fix it, but most people can't do that. Imagine what happens to first-time buyers who don't have our platform. To the agents out there, Tanya continued, we are watching. The days of gatekeeping neighborhoods are over. If you discriminate, we will find out, and it will cost you everything. And to the buyers, she finished, test them, record them, know your rights, do not let anyone tell you where you can or cannot live. She thanked the whistleblowers inside the agency who helped them. Then she walked away. This case exposed a massive problem called steering. Investigations show that real estate agents steer minorities away from white neighborhoods almost 50% of the time. It keeps the wealth gap wide. Housing is how most families build wealth. When you deny housing, you deny a future. The Williamses changed their company policy. They now use a blind application process for rentals. This case is now taught in ethics courses, but we still need stricter laws. So let me ask you, do you think you have ever been steered away from a neighborhood? Do we need stricter laws for real estate licenses? Do you think Diane deserved to lose everything she had? Because if we don't Roman 9 the root cause, then we're just waiting for the next Diane Foster, the next innocent family, the next lawsuit. Comment below if you believe fair housing is a basic human right. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these stories. We're going to keep demanding better. This isn't just about one bad agent or one rich couple. It's about all of us and the system we are willing to tolerate. See you in the next one.